when the guy really, really wants you to be his woman, you will know. You will not need to ask someone, because he will make sure you feel comfortable, you feel safe, you feel protected. And as a woman, we need those things in order to love a man and in order to trust a man and lean on him. Hello my angels, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be covering how I knew my partner was the one. So I personally don't believe in soulmates or finding one person who completes your other half. I truly do believe that there are some people who will compliment you and bring out the best in you, and there are other people who are going to bring out more toxic or, weak traits in you. So it is very, very important to choose someone that not only fulfills what it is that you have on your list, that has whatever it is that you're looking for, but that truly serves your best purpose, your best evolution, and complements you so you can both, strive to be better and pursue the higher good. So there are a lot of signs that I found when I was dating my now partner, and these were positive signs. Like, for once in my life, they weren't red flags. I was finally like, this is a breath of fresh air, because instead of having all of these doubts and disbelief as to, does he have feelings for me, is he seeing other women, there was none of that, because it was pure honesty and true communication, and it was such a slow start that I knew we weren't just rushing into things or trying to fast forward things so that we could be intimate. I want to just break these things down one by one so you guys can maybe watch and analyze if you have these same feelings with your partner, or perhaps with someone you're currently dating, or maybe none of these things resonate, and maybe for you it's something else that you're looking for. So let's just get right into it. The first thing that really set this relationship apart from other relationships I've had in the past is it was a really, really slow burn. And I know that sounds like bad, right? Because we've all been told this lie since we were children about like this fairy tale type of feeling and love at first sight. And I truthfully do not believe in love at first sight. I do believe in lust at first sight or desire at first sight, but I do not believe in love at first sight, and I'm actually planning on making a video just on that topic alone. But for today's video, I just want to talk about the things that made me realize that my partner was the one. And one of those things was that I could tell my partner was not rushing me. He was not rushing me for a commitment, but he made it very clear that we were working our way towards that. He conveyed those emotions to me. He didn't just leave me hanging or leave me feeling unsure. On top of that, I could tell that he was willing to wait and to, put a pause on intimacy. And a lot of men in today's day and age are like, well, we're dating, like, why can't we be intimate, or why can't we do these things? And they don't really understand that there are some women like me who are more traditional, who want that deeper connection. They don't want to just jump the gun and get straight into some physicality without actually exploring the dynamic, building trust, creating a friendship, and all of those other things that I believe should come before physicality. Now, obviously, this is just my personal beliefs. This is how I, at this time in my life, choose to carry out my relationships. It hasn't always been that way. I was definitely a lot more easygoing and a lot more kind of going with the flow when I was back in college. But now that I'm at this age where it's like, yeah, I am looking for my life partner, I knew that I was willing to wait for those things and to actually see if this man was worthy of my energy, right? Because not every person is worthy of you, especially especially like you ladies need to understand, like when we give our bodies and our energy to a man, that is a huge energy exchange, and not everyone is worthy of that time with you. I always remember the saying that the hottest love has the coldest end, and it is so true. Like I remember that there have been times where I met a guy and we like got into a relationship that first week we met, and we were like seeing each other every day and like so intertwined, and everything just moved so fast, and then like boom, we broke up just as quick as we got together, right? So that's not always the case, don't get me wrong. There are people who meet and move in and they're together 30 years down the line. But once again, this is just things that I've learned from my own personal experiences. And I think it's really important that as humans, we analyze our own experiences and we try to cultivate experiences that bring out better results and better, chances of success. So personally for me, one of those things was taking the relationship slow, and that was a huge green flag. I wanted a relationship, but I just wanted to date for many months before I like made that commitment, because I had been hurt. I mean, let's be real, a lot of us women have been hurt. I didn't want to be that hurt woman who goes on to hurt other people, right? I didn't want to jump into this relationship with him and then a few months down the line be like, wait, this is just way too serious. I'm not ready. So I was like, well, it's just better to take things really slow and to ease into a relationship rather than just like have this deadline. So the next thing is my partner was very consistent in pursuing me. He talked to me every single day. Since the day we met, he was very consistent in communication. He messaged me that same night when we met, making sure I got home, ready to make plans again. And I could tell that he was adamant about making me his girlfriend. I think some women get weirded out by men who know what they want, but they don't realize that a true traditional masculine man, when he meets a woman that he wants as his partner, he is really going to be showing her that by talking to her every day, making plans, taking her out, planning dates. Like all of these things are natural. And I feel like because nowadays we're so used to just social media and swiping left and swiping right, and this like culture where we're just like come over and there's just no effort put into dating or getting to know one another, when we actually meet someone who does put in that effort, we think there's something wrong with them. But the problem is that's a personal issue. That's you not having healed your past traumas, right? Because I got to a place where I realized good men do these things. It's not some guy who is love bombing me or just being a player. There is a huge difference between a guy who is acting like a player and just trying to get you in the bedroom versus a guy who wants to put a ring on it, right? So my partner was definitely showing that consistent energy with the daily messages, with setting up dinner dates, on a weekly basis, showing me that he cared about me. I truly believe I thrive as a woman when a man is the one who's initiating those steps and kind of leading the way for our relationship. And that's how it happened. Like with my partner, he was very much the leader. He was the first one to say, I love you. He was the first one to say, hey, I'm ready to commit to you. You let me know when you're ready. He was also the first one to deactivate his online dating profiles because we did meet through an app. So all of these things shows that not only was he consistent in pursuing me, but his feelings were backed by these actions, by these consistent actions, right? I didn't have to wonder or second guess how he felt about me because he made those emotions known. The next thing that I loved about our dynamic was that we had spot on aligned values. We both expressed on our first date that we wanted to get married, but neither of us wanted kids. And that was like winning the lotto for me, because I have had so much trouble finding a man who is aligned in that. A lot of men nowadays do want to have children, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it is important to talk about those things pretty early on, because what's the point of dating someone who wants a completely different life than you? You don't want to mold someone into your version of what you want them to be, right? You want them to flourish into who they want to be. And so it was beautiful, because when we were talking, it seemed like we just loved the same things. Like, we both loved fine dining, we both loved to travel, we were both like just very eager to grow and learn, and it was just this energy that we shared, like, from the first date, that like told me like, wow, this guy is, you know, very similar to me. Now, once again, I'm talking about values. There were a lot of things that were very different with us. For example, our religions, our cultures, we have an age difference, our jobs. So there were very different things between us, but our values were in sync. And I personally believe that values should be one of the most important factors in terms of synchronicity, right? Because you can be opposite spectrums in terms of being outgoing versus being an introvert, but as long as you guys have the same values and vision for your life, then you guys can usually make those other things work. He was also very family oriented, which was a huge bonus for me, because I am very close and attached to my family, and I just couldn't see myself dating someone who did not have a relationship with theirs. So that was another positive. Another thing that just kind of confirmed that we were on the right pace was that we had the most amazing conversations. We had such deep intellectual conversations that weren't just, hey, how's it going? How was your day? Like the basics. You know, I would say most of my conversations with men who I've dated or just gotten to know have been very superficial. Like, if you ask me anything about them, I didn't really know who they were. I didn't know their identity. Like, yeah, okay, I know what they were doing. I know how their day was. Do I know their like fears and their life experiences and their dreams and their goals? And like, these are the types of conversations we were having. Like, I'm talking on the first date. So having those sorts of like deep conversations, but then feeling so natural, not like, oh my god, this is daunting, we're talking about all this serious stuff, because it wasn't in a serious way either. Like, I know some dates tend to feel like an interview. This was not like that at all. Like, we were just bouncing off of each other's energy. It was one of those dates where the waiter kept coming to make sure like everything was good, and we would just be so engrossed in our conversation that we would be like, huh, what's going on? Like, we did not even care what the waiter had to say. So that was another thing that I really loved, was that he was willing to get to know me and who I was. Yes, he obviously shared that he thought I was attractive and he gave me all those compliments, but in addition to that, he wanted to know who Rulla was. He didn't just want to know what I look like. He was interested to get inside my brain and to kind of like figure me out and to just explore all of my complexities. And I thought that that was very beautiful, and that also was just a wonderful sign that this person was for me. In addition to that, I never felt like I had to hide my true self around him, and I think that that is so powerful. There's this Buddhist saying that goes, when you meet your soulmate or your person or whatever, you don't feel butterflies, you feel at peace. And wow, I resonate with that so much, because I think that when I was younger, especially in my teenage years and in college, I was all about that high, kind of like an anxiety, like anxious feeling, butterflies in your stomach when you don't know someone that well, and like it's clear that, you know, the relationship isn't really going anywhere, but you know, there's an aspect of fun and excitement to it, right? Well, that isn't sustainable long term. What is sustainable is that feeling of peace, that feeling of calm, that feeling of harmony, like knowing that you guys are on the same page. You don't need to pretend to act like someone else, because you can just be yourself. You can be serious, you can be silly, you can be all of the layers that make up you, and this person still honors you and respects you and thinks you're amazing. Like, that is how I felt with my partner, to where it was like, I didn't have to be serious all the time. I didn't have to be this like boss entrepreneur lady. Sometimes I could be in my feminine, and I could be more surrendering and more letting him lead. So like, I could tune into different energies, and he was reciprocating that energy and showing me that like he liked all the dualities of me. Now, probably more important than all of the things I previously mentioned was his masculine energy. Like, oh my God, this man is so masculine, as in he is just such a typical masculine traditional man, to where he is a provider. He wants to take care of me, he wants to make sure I'm good, and not in a controlling way, because I have had boyfriends in the past who seemed like this amazing masculine energy, but then it became this toxic controlling scenario where they wanted to dominate me. Now with my partner, it is the complete opposite. He is that truly healthy, embodied masculine man who wants to provide, who wants to take care of me, who wants to make sure I'm fed, I'm taken care of. He was there for me when I was sick. He was there for me when I broke my foot. He was there for me during highs, during lows. He was always a pillar in my life. Like, he was a backbone in so many different phases of my life. I'm literally gonna get teary-eyed just thinking about it, because he really did prove himself. And obviously this wasn't all just in the beginning, like this was as time went on. He proved himself by being that true masculine man who just wanted to make sure I was good, and it didn't even matter if I was with him or not. Let me give you guys a few examples. He gave me the keys to his apartment and was like, my place is yours. You need anything, you want to stop by, you want to just get away, my place is yours anytime you want to come over. And he was actually traveling almost every week for work at the time. He trusted me with his keys. Now obviously at the time I was nowhere near comfortable to the point where I would just show up at this man's apartment when I wasn't even his girlfriend. But like, look at how big of a commitment that action is. Like, looking back at it now, like, wow, that was such a huge confirmation for me that he loved me, that he wanted me to be his girlfriend, right? Because what man would just give you his keys if he was dating other women, if he was, you know, entertaining some other girls? Obviously he wouldn't have given you his keys because you could potentially show up at an unfavorable time, right? So like, he did things like that, and I can go on and on and on. Like, for example, he would ask me, what are your favorite snacks? What are your favorite drinks? You know, what's your favorite shampoos, conditioners, body washes, all that. And he made sure that all of my favorite things were at his place, so that if I came over or stopped by, or we had lunch, or we were watching a movie, I felt comfortable and I felt at home. So those were like some manly actions that he took, where I did not have to initiate this. And this is what I want to explain, especially to you ladies, because I get so many questions on Instagram, on YouTube, and my emails about, how do I know if this guy wants to date me? Or how do I know? You will know. Like, when the guy really, really wants you to be his woman, you will know. You will not need to ask someone, because he will make sure you feel comfortable, you feel safe, you feel protected. And as a woman, we need those things in order to love a man and in order to trust a man and lean on him, right? So he was really setting me up, like, to feel protected, to feel loved, to feel safe. by doing all these things. And I could go on and on. Like, you guys, it's just crazy. Like, when I tell people the commitment steps that my partner took before we were even official, it is so beautiful, because it is so clear how much love he has for me and had for me then and still does to this day. He put Uber on my phone and was like, I want to make sure if you're drinking that you have a ride no matter where you are. He just did so many different things that ensured in my mind and in my heart that, wow, this guy wants to take care of me and is willing to make me the queen of his life. I mean, he was already doing that, and I had not even told him yet that I was ready to commit to him. And along those lines, like, he gave me the freedom, because I told him I did not want to rush into a relationship and I really wanted to take things slow, and he honored that. He allowed me to be me. He was not asking me, well, it's been 3 months now, like, are you gonna be my girlfriend yet or what? Like, he was just so willing to go through this journey with me. And I remember he would always say, like, what do we have to lose? Let's say this doesn't work out, well, at least we tried. That gave me so much, like, affirmation that he was my man. Him doing all of these things, him communicating with me deeply, him, you know, showing me commitment, but not forcing me to make that commitment so quickly early on. Him taking these action steps that showed that he wanted to be a provider, that he wanted to take care of my heart, that he wanted to make me feel safe. All of these were such positive signs. And obviously, no relationship is just rainbows and sunshine. We had disagreements. And what was also just another positive was that we dealt with them in such a healthy way. Like, I remember when we first had our first disagreement, I honestly even forgot what our first disagreement was, but I know that it was tough, right? Because it was like the first time we were having an argument. And there was no yelling. There was no cussing. There was no blaming. We both took time, like, of solitude, of silence, to just kind of reflect and figure out our thoughts. And I thought that that was just so mature. I had been in relationships where arguments were just your chance to win the argument and get your way. And, like, finally I was with someone who, it wasn't about winning the argument or about getting the last word in. It was about coming back to love. It was about remembering that we are a partnership, that we are teammates. We might not see eye to eye, but we can get through this. So having that sort of energy during disagreements was such a positive sign in my eyes, because I was like, wow, even disagreements, we are getting out stronger. We're able to communicate about these things without acting childish or immature. We're not being defensive. We're not doing, you know, these things that are detrimental to relationships, which, by the way, I just filmed a video recently that was 4 signs that your relationship is in trouble. So if you want to watch that, make sure to check that out over here. Now, what really sold me and just solidified everything else that I've mentioned to you guys today was he supported me and pushed me to follow my dreams, even if those dreams didn't involve him. So one of my biggest bucket list items was solo traveling. This is something I've wanted to do since I was like a teenager. And I finally had the chance, the opportunity to solo travel. This was back in, I guess it was 2019. Wow, I can't believe it's been that long. Anyways, and I was like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go for it. And like, he was like, do it, babe. This is what you've dreamt of. Like, you're gonna love it. And the day before my flight, I was just having a panic attack. I was like, I can't do this. I barely even know the language. I'm going by myself. What if there's an emergency? I don't know who to call. I'm freaking out. I don't even know how I could go to the hospital if anything were to happen. Like, I was just going down that hole. You know, when you're about to do something really exciting, when you're about to take the leap and you're just like, oh my God, no, like second guessing yourself. We've all been there, right? I've been there so many times when I was starting my business, when I was deciding which college to go to, like so many times in my life were huge transition points, but I had to get past that fear. I had to take the leap. I had to just go for it. And this was one of these times when I was just voicing my uncertainty and my doubt. And instead of being like, yeah, forget it, cancel it, you don't need to do it, like, we'll just go somewhere together, he was like, oh hell no, you are doing this, you were made for this, you are strong. Like, he was pumping me up and telling me, don't forget why you wanted to do this has been on your bucket list, this is your dream, you're gonna do fine. And that just sold me right then and there. Like, he was going to support me in following my dreams, and that is something that any person should wish for in their partner, is that they motivate them and inspire them and uplift them and empower them. And he does all that and more. So that basically wraps up today's video. I hope that you guys can kind of get the gist of this video. Obviously, each partnership is different, so please don't compare, like, you know, nitty-gritties. I just want you guys to kind of see the theme in what a true masculine gentleman acts like and does. A real gentleman is going to move at the pace that is healthy for you. He's not going to be forcing you or pushing you into something that you're not comfortable or ready for. He is going to take lead in showing commitment, and he's not just going to be calling you pet names or, you know, talking up a big game. He is going to be taking actions that actually prove, you know, his feelings for you and prove that he wants to be the man for you. So I hope that this was helpful. I'm really, really happy to be back making videos again. I know I had a huge break and I was just missing this so much. Please let me know what other types of videos you guys want to see. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all very, very soon. Bye!